So welcome back to the Elevate With Us podcast. I am so excited to welcome our guest today, Morgan Yonge. She has a really, really interesting background, including being a realtor at some point and now does a myriad of things. She's like a jack of all trades. It's pretty cool. So can't wait to learn more about Morgan. So Morgan, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah,
I'm really excited to learn more about your story and kind of how you got to where you are today. Because right now, if you were to define yourself, you are
I'm a life coach, a public speaker, an acrobat, a yogi, model. I do a ton of things.
That's so amazing.
I like to mix it up and keep the variety.
Sure, it's like the spice of life, right? Doing different things.
Yeah.
So how did you get there? Like, you're really youngish.
Mm-hmm.
And so how did you get to this point to have all those different things kind of come together?
Well, I guess it started with cheerleading for 20 years.
Wow.
And I needed something to keep the adrenaline up.
Okay.
And to keep myself in shape.
Did you do like flips and stuff?
Oh, yeah. All the flips, all the flying, I was a flyer.
Wow.
So that translated into the acrobatics.
Okay.
And got me into yoga. And so those were the first two things that really opened up my mind to personal development.
Sure.
So that really, they all correspond, which is pretty cool. So I love the acrobatics, all the acro yoga. So handstands in people's hands, hand balancing. So it's so much fun.
That's really, really neat. That's fun. So to become a yogi, this means you're like a certified yoga instructor is what I'm assuming that you've taken classes and whatnot. I don't really know a lot about that space.
Yeah. Certified yoga instructor. I teach a couple classes at Crunch and I teach private yoga here and there.
Wow.
Just for fun, just to keep it up. That's the stuff that fills up my cup.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a bunch of energy to go do life coaching, and then public speaking is my favorite thing ever.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I love that. So we connected because I put up a Facebook post looking to do a sound bath, which we talked about. It's still going to happen. We're going to do the sound bath, I promise. And a lot of people don't understand what that is. They're kind of scared. They think it's kind of like mumbo jumbo, like hippie stuff. But what they don't understand is that there's a lot of things that come with it that will probably lead to really great learning and enrichment and growth, because both of us, which a lot of people don't realize, is we have something in common. We believe in energy and manifestation and positive thinking and how that can transform your life. And you can really relate to me and most of my listeners, which are realtors, because you were one.
Yeah.
So you could understand how it would be really easy as a realtor to be down in the dumps.
Yes.
It's a very demanding field. You got to get real good with no. You got to feel so comfortable with people telling no to you and kind of being a fighter. And that can really drain you.
Yeah.
So tell me about your experience as a realtor and kind of why you're not a realtor anymore.
Yeah. Well, dealing with the biggest purchase of someone's life is very stressful.
Yes.
You feel and take on that stress. And then the stress of the other agents. Everyone's, hungry for the sale. And it's it feels almost manipulative in some ways. Certain real estate agents that I was working with, it was kind of stressful to be around that environment all the time. Being someone who is very spiritual, and I love the yoga and relaxing and the sound baths. So sound baths really helped a lot.
Sure.
They, pull you into the present moment and de-stress. But it was a lot in real estate.
Yeah. So it sounds to me that, and I don't know kind of where you were, what your experience was there, but it sounds like the culture of the brokerage you were with was a little bit cutthroat. Which happens, the amazing part about real estate is there's a lot of different brokerages out there. There's a lot of different people you can be partnered with. And we like to be at our brokerage very collaborative, collaboration above competition. There's, because we have an abundance mindset, there is enough business for everybody.
Yeah.
So if something doesn't work out for you, it's okay. It's just next.
Yeah.
It wasn't for you at that time. It wasn't for your customer at that time. Everyone might be really sad for a minute, but that's okay. You just got to take it and move on.
Yeah. The crazy thing is with me in real estate is that it was as if God and the universe was pushing me out of real estate really hard.
You got to listen sometimes.
Yeah. And I was one of those people. I was like, you know what? I don't want to be a quitter. I don't want to
I get that.
Give up, because they say in the first 5 years, 80% of people, realtors quit. I was like, that's not going to be me.
I think it's even worse than that. I think in the first 2 years, about 80% of realtors don't make it. And then out of that, I think another like 30% don't make it. So
yeah,
in the first 5. So, I mean, you're right. I think there's a lot of reasons why. I don't think it has to do always with maybe being in a real estate environment that didn't foster growth. But I think agents get kind of stuck on that high of those first couple of transactions, and they forget that they've got to continue to prospect because they're not in an environment of collaboration and inspiration where people are helping them, and there isn't enough coaching.
Yeah.
I just, the market's always changing, and if you're not learning, you're dead. I don't think you're going to die, but your business will.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, no matter how much, I was a hustler. Like, no matter how much I prospected and was so focused on the growth and the learning of it, there was a month I had 9 cancellations.
Sure, it happens sometimes.
But that was like, I mean, and I still pushed through after that. I think I was in real estate another 6 months after that.
Okay.
And then I was finally like, okay, God's telling me I have to go do my purpose. I have to put my all into the life coaching, put my all into the public speaking, because that's what brings me joy. If I'm not doing what brings me joy, I'm living a miserable existence.
Well, it's true, because you don't know how much time you have. So you've got to spend your time wisely, and you've got to ensure that what you're doing brings you joy, pays the bills, and allows you to do the other things you like to do. So
it was like a financial leap of faith.
Sure.
But I was choosing real estate out of a fear choice. So I was going for the money and for the, hopefully eventually a stable income, which I realized in real estate, there's no stable income.
It takes years and years and years.
It's
like after year 3 is kind of when, if you've been very consistent, that you get a lot of consistent business, because of the life cycle of customers is a lot of your buyers become sellers and then become another buyer, and you're getting double fed from, one transaction and stuff. But it's, 3 to 5 years of,
and I was in for 2. Right. So it was just long enough for me to be like, all right, I'm good. I'm out. I'm going to go focus on what I'm passionate about.
And and I'm sure you've done a lot of thinking about this. I don't think you should look at it as a failure.
No.
It was just a stepping stone in your life that led you to where you needed to be.
Yeah. I got to sell myself a house, which was beautiful and exciting.
That is so exciting. It's the best part.
It was pretty great.
It is, yeah. But I would imagine, I know because I've been my own customer a few times. I'm a terrible customer.
Yes.
Because I know how it's going to go. And when I haven't been licensed in a state that I've moved to, I warn them. I'm like, listen, I'm a real bad real estate customer, because I know the things. So don't think you can tell me too much. Tell me everything. Everything. Because that is hard when you know.
Yeah.
When you're like, hey, why haven't I heard from you? What's going on? Is there something wrong?
Yes. Well, I got really lucky. It was an open door. And so it was pretty simple.
Pretty easy. Yeah.
It was wild though. It was in 2021 when there were 10 offers on my home.
Yep.
So it was a little bit stressful, but I only saw 2 homes of my own because I knew a good home when I saw one. When I came across this house, I was like, that's mine.
Oh, I love that. That's so awesome. That's so great though. Yes. I love that. That's awesome. So you no longer practicing real estate. You now transitioned to life coach.
Yes.
And tell me a little about what that looks like, and kind of what your platform is like, and if this makes sense to somebody listening, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I have a website if we want to talk about that.
Yeah, what's your website?
MorganYonge.com. Yonge is spelled Yonge.
Perfect.
There's no U in my last name.
I'm sure that comes up all the time.
Constant. So, got to make sure everyone's aware.
Yes.
But I host events, but I also do the life coaching, which is a 1 month or a 3 month program right now is what I'm working with.
Oh, wow.
And so in the program, it's basically how to optimize your life. So we come up with exactly what you want out of life, your goals, and then we look at your time, how you're spending your time, what your habits look like, how you're setting boundaries, and really just optimizing every moment that is spent in your life, from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep. How often do you check in with yourself and your goals? And it's really like a hand holding through making sure you are right on track with everything that you're desiring for your life. Because a lot of the times we're just skating through life willy-nilly. and it's just coming at you and you're not really happy doing what you're doing. And so it's like, no, grab the bull by the horns and let's take some action that's actually going to bring you the fruit.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard, right? Because we get busy. We get busy in life and we aren't fulfilled in whatever we're doing. You have a dream of, you know, being an author. I'm just making this up, by the way. And you're just like, oh, well, I could never do that because I don't have the time. And I think what people forget is we all have the same amount of time in a day, and I might accomplish less than you do, but that's probably because I'm not being efficient with my time. You can always find more time. It's just what's important to you. We had a different podcast on, and he's obsessed with time. It's really, really interesting to kind of follow his story, and he has all kinds of kind of rules for himself that have allowed him to get his time back. And something that he does, which I'm going to institute, I want to, I thought I was going to start today. It didn't happen. But he doesn't, I don't know if he doesn't check his email or he doesn't do anything with technology before 11:30 in the morning. And I understand why. It's because it sucks you in, and you know, you get stuck in those emails are people pushing on you, which might not really allow you to do what you should do that day. And he doesn't check his cell phone at certain times of the day, and he puts it away, like leaves it in a box by the front door. And I think that's really powerful and amazing, and something that all of us should do more of, because we are addicted to our phones. It's an intentional addiction by the developers, right? The sounds happen so often that makes your brain do things that makes you want it more and more. So like forcing yourself.
The Social Dilemma. It's a really good documentary.
It is. It's really, really good. I mean, it's, you know, it's an addiction that we all have, and I don't think any of us want to get rid of it.
Yeah. Well, because we're addicted to it.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get rid of it in the society in these days. It's a big tool. Like social media is my biggest source of clients.
Sure.
So, but going on there, of course, like whenever I go to make a post, all these alerts are coming in to get me to start doom scrolling. When that's just a drain
such
of
a good
dopamine.
Word. It is such a doom scroll, but I do love it so much.
Very entertaining.
It is. I love it, especially now that they have all the reels and they're so funny, and then they target you to find other ones that you like. Like I ride horses, so almost all of mine are about horses.
I love the horse ones.
And I love them. I mean, they're so great.
They're very magnificent.
They do all the things, and I love it. Or sometimes there are ones that people falling off, which I shouldn't enjoy, but if you're afraid to fall off, then you shouldn't ride. That's one of the things we say. So I know it's super, but the doom scroll, I'm going to file that one.
It's mining for dopamine. Is another term for it.
I've never heard of that. I didn't know it released dopamine.
Oh, you're getting your dopamine completely drained from doom scrolling.
Wow.
And it's also draining your curiosity, because you're going down all these different rabbit holes, and then your curiosity is drained and you're not as excited to go read a book or listen to a podcast or watch a YouTube video longer. And learn.
Well, they say, I mean, so I've been doing advertising obviously for a really long time. And I remember when I started real estate, and I'm going to get the data wrong, but they said you had to put your stuff in front of someone like 7 times for them to remember you. The last I checked that data, it was 17.
Wow.
Because we're shot with so much information. I mean, pay attention to when you're doom scrolling to how many advertisements are there, right? If it says sponsored, it's an advertisement. And if you can remember something, like write them down, the next day you probably have all the same ones and you'll not recognize them. It'll take 17 times of seeing basically the same information for you to recognize it. And it's because so much information comes at us. It takes that long for it to have like a breakthrough.
Yeah.
Really nuts.
I can imagine.
Really crazy.
Yeah. That's why my business coach, he told me to start posting 3 reels a day. Am I doing it? No, I'm not getting there yet. But he told me to start doing 3 a day, and I'm trying, but gosh, it's challenging.
Oh, I'm so bad at those. So I have I think I have 15 drafts.
Yeah.
That I just like, I create them and I'm not quite sure if I like them enough, or the phone rings. That's a big problem for me, is my phone's always ringing. So I'm doing something and then the phone rings, and then I do something from the phone call and I forget it's there. I have one that I made. We have a pie giveaway for Thanksgiving, and I made a reel of all the people that came.
Oh no.
I mean, I can't do it
but
now.
But that's so relatable, though. Right. If you did it now, it would probably do pretty well.
I could probably say,
so relatable.
Better late than never.
Yeah, that's hilarious. And so another thing my business coach said, he's like, start posting without your makeup on. Post without filters. Be so authentic and so real.
People want that.
challenging.
It is so challenging.
Especially coming from a news anchor background or, journalism background. I mean, we're taught to look a certain way and show up on camera and be as close to perfect as you can be because it's less of a distraction.
Oh, interesting.
But now it's kind of backwards. It's like, no, just be as real and authentic as you can.
They say that to be like as authentic as, because it relates to people more when you're not super scripted and whatnot. And people seem to like it more, but it's hard to see yourself like that. I mean,
especially as a recovering perfectionist. Like
recovering perfectionist. I love that.
All the way. Only child, had to be, a certain way growing up.
Right.
Lived a country club lifestyle. And so now I'm like, no, I got to be a child. I need to take the weight off and go have fun and just be silly and weird and goofy. And it's really hard to go against the grain of everything that
absolutely. No, for
you're raised on.
For sure. So we talked about sound baths, which really intrigued me as someone that is always trying to get better, trying to purposefully be reflective, purposely de-stress. I think that a lot of us have, we hold stress differently, or we have baggage, as they say, that we perhaps have a trauma in our past that we didn't deal with appropriately that is probably preventing us from being as successful as we can be. So explain to everybody what a sound bath is, because like I said, I think people think it's like hokey.
You don't actually have to take a bath.
That's so funny, because I think people think that you are in a bath listening to music.
Yeah, that's not what that is.
No, I know it's not.
So you may have seen they're singing bowls. They're the big bowls, and you take the kind of a wand tool and you go all the way around. It goes wah, wah, wah,
right,
at different frequencies, and different bowls make different sounds. And since the body is 60% water, we are resonating at a certain frequency.
Sure.
And our frequency raises and lowers based on the experiences that we have every day. So when you have a closing that didn't go the way you planned, that will lower your vibrational frequency, and you'll start to feel those feelings of frustration and guilt or shame or any of those lower vibrational frequencies. When we have something beautiful happen, or we're in love, the oxytocin's flowing, we have endorphins from going to the gym, our vibration is so much higher. And those are those feelings, like we start to see all the beauty in the world. And
right.
We're feeling love and we're feeling joy and peace. And so the sound bowls, those are like vibrational frequencies of our homeostasis, bringing us back to the best frequency for our bodies. And every time I have a sound bath, I ask if there's any ailments beforehand. And then, so someone will say like, oh, I have a hurt knee, or oh, I have a headache, or oh, I've had shoulder pain for a while.
And why?
Well, after the sound bath, they say that the pain has gone away, even if it's a temporary or something, but their vibration is raised enough for that, like the molecules in that area to kind of deflame, reduce the inflammation. Wow. It's a weird science behind it.
Weird. I've read a lot about them, and I have never been one.
They're very healing.
I have intentions of doing one, because I'm going to host one.
Yeah.
We're going to do it together.
Yeah. Or just come over. We'll have one at my house.
We'll just have one at your house.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds even better. But like, do people cry? Is there emotion at these? Like, do you let go of things?
Necessarily.
In my mind, I'm going to cry.
You might.
I'm not afraid of crying.
Yeah.
I just feel that when it gets to the lower vibration level where it's going to help heal whatever negativity you're holding on, that might be a release of emotion. But I could be completely wrong, because I might be getting this idea from a movie.
Well,
and we know that Hollywood's 100% accurate.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people cry in yoga because the deep hip openers, we hold and store a lot of trauma in our hips.
It hurts so much?
No.
I'm just kidding.
That's what the breathing's for.
Yeah.
But we will be in like a pigeon pose, and that's where your leg is up.
Oh, I know.
Like, and your back leg is back. It's almost like a split.
Yes.
And you're leaning over that leg. And I say surrender to the pigeon.
Sure.
Because you hold a lot of emotions in the hips.
That's really interesting you're saying that. So this is completely off topic, but the other day I did lymphatic drainage massage. Have you ever done that?
I haven't.
Okay, so your lymphatic system is what cleans everything out, and if you can hold fluid like you're not supposed to when your lymphatic system isn't working like it should. And so I'd been thinking about doing this for a while. It had been recommended to me from a homeopathic doctor, And I finally did it. It's hard to, it's a specialized field. There aren't a lot of people that do it. And I needed someone to come into my house to do it because my schedule is just too weird. In your mind, when you hear massage, what do you think it's going to be like?
I think, you know,
like pushing
the thumbs and the elbows and the different spots.
Right? Yeah. And I didn't do research as to what it was. And I get there, the girl's so nice. She's setting up her table and, you know, I'm under the covers and she's like, hey, are you familiar with this? And I said, no, and not at all. But I said, I'm ready. Yeah. And she was like, so I don't want you to be disappointed, but it's going to feel like I'm petting you. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, it's going to feel like I'm petting you. And that's literally what it is. So it's I mean, it's more than just this, but they just kind of like, it's light touching. And sometimes it's tapping and sometimes it's pumping to move the fluid through. Wow. Really weird. I could feel the fluid moving. Now this is going back to, I have issues with my right hip. And so when she started doing my right leg, she was like, wow, there's like a lot. And she's also a massage therapist. She's like, oh, there's a lot here. She gets to my hip and she's like, so I could spend 90 minutes working on your hip. It's like locked. Wow. So I wonder if that's emotion.
It could be.
I'm holding all my emotion in my right hip.
And it's a great way to pull up those emotions and work through them. Because when we have those stored and stuck emotions, that's when we're going to get triggered more often with those certain patterns that we haven't healed yet. Yeah. So having those worked through can help you so you don't have to keep experiencing the same traumas over and over again.
Absolutely.
It's going to keep coming back into your life until you take a strong look at it. Yeah. And then take a different action next time.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to have that hip worked on. We're going to see what happens. But yeah, it was like, I have a really, really, really high pain tolerance. And I was like, I want you to know I'm at a 10 right now. Wow. My hip is not okay. She's like, no, it is not okay. I mean, it was, so maybe after I do, the massage to release the hip, I should probably practice yoga more often.
Yeah. And more sound baths.
And more sound baths. Everything that Morgan does.
We do inside out.
I mean, that's really, really neat. So do you have a place that you do these at? I think Crunch is a local gym in Jack's Beach, right?
Crunch is a local gym. Yep. It's actually like on the other side of the intercoastal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Atlantic and San Pablo is my home gym. Okay. It's pretty cool. They just actually hired me on as their first influencer.
Okay.
So I'm like the first person to be able to make social media posts and have my own promo code. So when someone signs up under my promo code, I get paid.
Wow, basically. That's amazing. Good for you.
It's really cool.
And there you teach yoga classes.
I do. Okay. I might pick up some kickboxing classes too because I love kickboxing.
Oh, that's fun. That's really fun.
Really fun. So I might do that too. But I have a very busy schedule right now. So trying to balance it all.
Good problem to have. Yeah. Good problem to have. Now, for the sound baths, do you have a specific location you do them at, or do you do them outside, inside? There's kind of no rules.
There's no rules. So sometimes I do them at my house or another person's house for a private party or a private experience. Sometimes the beach. Beach is a beautiful place to do it.
Ooh, that makes sense. It's very calming.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like the idea of the beach. That's a great spot to do it in.
Yeah. Okay. It's really nice because you can hear the ocean, and that's a whole another sound of the bath.
Sure. Oh, wow. That's so fascinating. Oh, I just absolutely love that. That sounds, I feel like the beach is the place to do it because that's water.
It is. And it's interesting. This brings up a thought in my mind because when we meditate or when we're at the beach going through this experience, there's going to be other noises. There's going to be people. There's going to be a dog barking. There's going to be some weird seagulls and whatnot. And people think that that's a distraction. They're like, ugh, you're ruining my sound bath, seagull. You're ruining my sound bath, dog barking. You know, that's an internal thought that we'd probably think.
Yes.
But in reality, that's maybe a vibration that your body needed to hear. It's a different something, a different om, if you will, to pull yourself back into the present moment. It's an opportunity for you to be like, okay, I heard that, back to my breath. Okay, I heard that, back to my breath. It's something else to ground you and pull you back into the present moment and bring your awareness, because the awareness is what we're in control of.
Right.
Bring your awareness back to the sound of the bowls or back to the sound of the ocean or the breath. We have so many other things to focus on, but most of the time we're always focused on the things we don't want instead of the things that we do want.
which it will circle right back over to
manifestation,
or, you know, what I like to call the gateway drug to all this, the book, The Secret, or the movie, The Secret, and that your thoughts become things. The universe is a mirror. So if you're focusing on what you don't want, that is what you're going to get. And it is so hard to remember that when you are worried about something. You're like, I don't want this deal to fall through. I don't want this deal to fall through. I don't.
That's what's going to happen.
You can't do that. You just told the universe that's what you want.
Yes.
But instead you're going to say, you know, I close deals.
That's it.
And a story, you know, I close many deals. The deals I write offers on close.
Yeah.
You have to change your thinking. And it's so hard to do because.
Or it's easy.
Well, you're right. It is easy to do. I think
it's hard, but it's easy at the same time. I totally know. But we've got to change the way we communicate everything. I try to take the word hard out of my vocabulary.
Right.
Because
Nothing's hard.
The Staples Easy button, have you seen that? Where you press the button and go, that was easy.
Yeah.
So there's certain clients I've had where I'm like, I either buy them a button or tell them to buy one. And everything they do that feels hard or challenging, or even the little things, they do their laundry or they do the dishes, press the button and affirm, hear it back to yourself. That was easy. That was easy. And that just heals whatever it is in your mind that keeps you from doing things.
Stay tuned for part 2 of this Elevate With Us podcast.